Hi, and welcome to a Vinyasa practice. My name's Kaylee. When you're ready today, you can meet me in child's pose. We're going to start there. Take the knees wide or narrow, whatever feels best for your back. And then start to walk the arms forward. You can rest the forehead straight down, or you can stack your fists to make a little pillow. I will turn my head to the side just so that my voice doesn't become muffled, but as soon as you land, see if you can gently wiggle your hips back a little bit. And then slowly start to lengthen your pattern of breathing, taking really long breaths down into the low back or the sides of the ribs. And slow, steady exhales as you let your shoulders drop some tension, let the jaw soften. Two more breaths right here. So long inhale. See if you can breathe into the back of your body, into the back of the ribs. And slow exhale, softening the spot between the eyes, between the brows. And just one more round. Long inhale, breathe all the way down into the bottom of your lungs, down toward the kidneys and the adrenals. This time when you're ready, open your mouth and just sigh the air out. Start to work your way to a tabletop position from here, stacking your joints with your shoulders over your wrists and your knees under your hips. From tabletop, let's do some body circles. So keep moving the body in one direction for a few breaths here. Try and find space in your lower back by engaging the abdominals just a little bit, and then switch direction of the body circles, warming up around the wrists, around the finger pads, the shoulders. Come through the center. Let's find cow, dropping the belly. Roll the shoulders down your back, broaden the collarbones, tilt the chin up. And then continue to breathe as you look over your left shoulder. Let's stay there. Take a breath in. Find cat pose, round the spine, kind of scoop in on yourself, chin toward your chest as you exhale. And back into cow, but then this time look over your right shoulder. Take a long breath in. And then cat, round the spine. This time climb up onto the tips of the fingers and let your shoulders drift toward your ears. Drop the palms back into cow right through the center. Breathe in. And let's find downward facing dog, tucking your toes, lifting your knees. Take a few breaths in your first down dog to pedal it out. It's cold where I am, so the body's a little stiffer than usual. That might be the case for you as well for any number of reasons. So really give yourself some time here. Bend into each ankle and each knee. Give your head a gentle little nod, side to side or front to back. And then from downward facing dog, let's bring the big toes really close together so you've got like a tripod base. You pushing down into the hands, bring all of that length into the spine, and then right leg lifts. Put a bend in your right knee here and open up through the hips. Flex the right foot so that the heel can pull toward your sacrum, really opening up through the front of the right hip and thigh. And then go ahead and relax the right foot a little bit. Draw some circles with the ankle. Then switch direction of your ankle circles. Let's kick the right leg back. Take a big breath in. And then we're going to step the feet to the top of the mat right into ragdoll. Leave some space between your feet. Generous bend of your knees. Catch the crooks of your opposite elbows. And then breathe. Just let the crown of the head dangle down. Even though it is chilly, practicing in a sweatshirt is not my favorite. Feel free to dress in layers as makes sense for your environment and the temperature that you've got. Let's stay with the feet split, but release the right fingertips down. Bend your right knee a bunch and then lift the left arm up and open. Really try and pull the shoulder blades onto the back of your body, looking maybe towards your top thumb as you take a big breath in. And then swap it out. Big bend of the left knee, sweep the right arm up and open. Drawing the tailbone back as you reach the crown of the head forward. Maybe the eyes float up towards your top thumb. Breathe in. And then release it down. Keep the feet split as you reverse swan dive all the way up. Maybe you don't quite have enough space. Neither do I. It's all good. We make it work. But keep the feet split as you push push down into your feet, and then lift up through your arms. Take your gaze upward. Keep pressing the feet down, turn the feet out a tiny bit, and then press the hips forward as you take a little standing back bend just to your degree. Take a big, big inhale. Hinge at your hips and fold forward on the exhale. Right fingers down, left arm lifts, bend the right knee, breathe in. Release the left hand as you breathe out. Inhale, lift the right arm. And then exhale, fold forward. Find a halfway stretch by bending the knees and planting the hands underneath the shoulders. You can bend the knees a ton to make that happen. And then step back to plank. In your high push-up, shift forward and backward, spreading your fingers out nice and wide, kind of gripping the mat with your hands. Take some of the strain off the wrist by imagining that you're pulling the mat into the palm of the hand, so lifting up. Shift forward, shoulders are over wrists. We're gonna lower half or all the way down. Long exhale, point the elbows back. You can land in chaturanga or on your belly. Come onto the tops of the feet for upward dog or cobra. Finish your inhale. And then down dog. Engage your abdominals, send your hips up and back. Take a breath. Walk the big toes close together. This time the left leg will lift. Bend your left knee. Hug your left heel in toward your lower back. And breathe. Relax the left foot. Draw some circles with the ankle. Switch direction of your ankle circles. Let's kick the left leg back on a breath in. This time step your feet together, hips distance apart. So not a big wide step, but maybe there's still some space. Come right into a halfway stretch by winging the arms by your sides. Reach the crown of the head forward. Pull shoulders down away from your ears. Breathe in. And then interlace your hands at your lower back. Fold forward on a breath out. Come back into your half lift. Inhale, pull the fingertips back. Switch which hand is on top, so the opposite pinky will be on the outside as you exhale and fold forward with that bind. One more halfway stretch, big breath in. This time catch your calves as you exhale, active forward fold, pressing into the balls of the feet. Totally fine for the knees to stay bent. Unroll all the way up to standing, sweeping your arms over your head, looking up on the in-breath. And then bring your hands to your heart. Let your eyes close down or rest your gaze right down the bridge of your nose. And make a commitment to yourself. You showed up to your practice, you logged on or you pressed play. See if you can commit to taking incredibly good care of yourself. So often in our days, our own needs get a little sidelined. Sometimes that's a beautiful thing to be able to sacrifice out of love, out of generosity for the environment and the people around us. But for this practice, for the time that you're on your mat, can you let it be an opportunity to truly check in with what you need physically, mentally, emotionally, and give yourself permission to create that for yourself. Take a big cleansing breath. So whatever it is that you need, even if you're unsure, take a big breath in, fill up on that. Let it just fill your body from head to toe. And then open mouth exhale, offering that energy up. Blink your eyes open when you're ready. Reach up on an in-breath. Maybe you press the hips forward. And then long exhale to fold. Try and move really smooth like water. Find your halfway stretch this time. You can bring your fingers down in line with the toes. And then step the feet back to high push-up. Lower half or all the way down. You can go back and forth between cobra and up dog. Inhale, either one of those shapes. And then down dog as you exhale. Press the mat away. Send your hips back. Look toward your knees or your navel. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Holding the exhale, look forward. Step your feet lightly or hop them to the top. Halfway stretch, wing the arms in this one. Breathe in. Interlace as you fold forward and empty. Release the bind, rise on the inhale. Go right back down this time, long exhale, empty, empty, empty. Halfway stretch, breathe in, fingers drop. High to low or straight to chaturanga on the exhale. Cobra or up dog, breathe in, fill all the way up in the stretch. And then downward facing dog, send your hips up and back. Look towards your knees or your navel, take a breath in. And a full breath out, holding the exhale, look forward, lift the heels, step lightly or float. Winged arm half lift, breathe in. Interlace and fold. Rise on the in. Right back down on the out. Halfway stretch, breathe in. We'll meet in down dog, vinyasa. Whatever variation of that transition feels right for you. Let yourself play with it. And then from down dog, right leg lifts, breath in. Bring your right knee to your nose. Give it a good curl, squeeze it in. We're gonna drop the right knee down underneath the right hip. So not all the way forward, under the right hip. And then lift the left leg up, look forward or upward. Maybe you find a little arch in your back here. Take a breath in. We're gonna keep the left leg lifted, shift forward, bend your elbows, exhale your chin toward the floor. It may or may not touch. On an inhale, we're gonna lift the chest, drop the left toes back down. Exhale your right knee back in. Three-legged dog, kick it back, breathe in. Let's try that a little faster. Exhale, knee to your nose. Drop the knee, lift the chest, lift the left leg, inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, kick all the way back to three-legged. One more, exhale, knee to your nose. Drop the knee, lift the chest and the chin, left leg is up, breathe in. Exhale, little chin tap. Three-legged dog, big breath in. This time, let's step the right foot through. Drop your left knee down as you find Anjaneyasana, your low lunge. You can start with your hands on your right thigh, or you might immediately feel ready to reach the arms up. Either way, can you let the rib cage lift up a little bit away from the hips, even as you allow that lunge to stay nice and deep. Maybe the hips melt forward a little bit here. Keep taking those deep, smooth Ujjayi breaths. Reach the arms up if that feels available. Bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers to make a little cradle, and then let your head fall into the hands. Use your hands to lift the base of your skull away from the spine, away from the vertebra and the neck. So really lifting the skull bones up and away from your spine. Take a big breath in. We're gonna curl in, send your hips back a little bit, curl both elbows in, and then see if you can bring your elbows to the inside of the right knee. A little balance challenge, scoop the abdominal wall in and up. Maybe you find a little tuck of the tailbone. So we're gonna move with breath. It's a long inhale to lift open. Open the elbows, press the left hip forward. And then exhale, curl in nice and tight, little crunch. Again, inhale, open, press the left hip forward, look up. And then exhale, curl it in tight. This time, release the hands, reach up on the in-breath. And then we're gonna find a hamstring stretch. You can tent the fingers on the sides of the right leg. You might wing the arms. And take some deep breaths here as you soften again the lower jaw away from the upper jaw. If you need a little bit more here, you might choose to pull the right toes back toward the right kneecap. Maybe you even shift your weight back a little bit, all the way onto your left heel. And then perhaps even play with lifting, that right foot up off of the floor. Totally okay for things to not work all the way out, for things to not be perfect. Does not mean in any way that your practice is not still incredibly effective. So perfection is not a requirement for this practice to be effective. If you're playing around like I am, let's keep the heel down. Let's roll all the way back into that bent knee position. Tuck the back toes under, find your high crescent lunge. Trying to square your hips toward the front of your space. Feel free to take up more space between your feet here. And then really spike your left heel sky high, but push back like you're pressing the ball of the left foot isometrically back toward the wall behind you. Keep working your right knee towards your right second or third toe, rooting down through the base of your right big toe. Stay here or look up, find a little back bend, left hip points forward and even pulls up, breathe in. Plant the hands, step back or float the left foot to 3-point plank and then lower half or all the way down. Cobra or upward facing dog on the inhale. And then down dog is the exhale. Left leg will lift. Take a breath in. We're gonna curl knee to nose as you exhale, really squeeze. Drop the left knee down. Inhale, look up, lift the right leg. Exhale, bend the elbows. Right foot down, back to three-legged. Breathe in. And then step, oh, no, let's do that 2 more times. Exhale, curl it in. We'll just do it once we get the flow going. Inhale, drop the knee, lift the chest, lift the right leg. Exhale, drop the chin down. Inhale, back to three-legged. Right toes tuck as the left leg lifts. Once more. Exhale, pull it in tight. Lower it down, lift the chest, lift the right leg, breathe in, shift forward, bend the elbows on the breath out. Right toes down, left leg all the way back on the in-breath. And then step it through, low lunge. Hands can find your left thigh to start. And then take those nice, smooth, steady breaths. It's easy for me to get winded these days, especially while I'm cueing practice, not working as much on cardiovascular strength. So if, like me, that was a little cardio, just breathe. Just continue to breathe through it. Soften the jaw, reach the arms up. Interlace your hands. Maybe you put the opposite thumb on the bottom here. Make a cradle for the back of the head, for the base of the skull. Elbows go wide. Press the right hip crease forward. So extend through the right hip crease. Right glutes are on. And then let your head drop back as you lift the skull away from the neck. And take a big breath in. Long exhale, think cat as you bring the elbows close and then curl in, elbows point down or toward your right leg. Inhale, back up and open. Long exhale, curl in, little crunch. Again, inhale, up and open, really reach the head away from the neck. Exhale, curl in, curl, 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 and squeeze. This time, release the arms, reach upward on the in-breath. And then find your hamstring stretch, stretching back with your hips. Finding the breath again. And maybe you allow the inhales to lift you just a little bit, and the exhales to soften you. So there's still a flow, and sometimes we need to emphasize that flow a little bit. Maybe over time, you can start to find the flow without having to add much movement when we're holding a stretch. You can stay there, or if you want to play around a little bit, shift the weight back. Keep pulling the left toes towards your kneecap, pulling the abdominals in as you float that left foot perhaps up. So I've been working on this for about a year. Still very challenging. All right. We're gonna rebend the knees, tuck the back toes, high crescent lunge. This time, let's set the eyes to one spot, maybe slightly above horizon. If that feels relatively steady for you, start to move your gaze up between the hands. Check in with the depth of the lunge. Can you safely take it a little lower? Do the knees feel okay here? Can you find a little bit more heat, a little more fire in the quads? Breathing in, hands to the mat, step back, high to low. You've got the option to float the left foot along the way. We go cobra or up dog, big inhale. And then down dog on the exhale. Let's clear that out. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And then open your mouth, let it go. Work your way back to the top of the mat, stepping, walking, floating. finding a winged arm half stretch. When you get there, breathe in. Interlace the hands and fold as you empty. Keep the bind this time. Let's start to unroll with the bind, drawing the knuckles down as you gently start to roll all the way up. Inner thighs hug toward midline. Give the glutes a gentle squeeze toward each other as you press the hips forward for a standing back bend with the hands tugging down toward the back of your ankles. From here, reach the arms up, find a nice neutral spine. And then let's go open arm twist toward the right. Find your balance on your left foot as you lift onto the right tippy toes. Stay there or bring that right knee all the way up off of the ground. Active through your right foot. You can stay here or you can bring your left hand to the crook of the right knee or to the outside of the right foot, finding your version of a dancing Shiva. Rolling the shoulders, especially that right shoulder, back in space behind you, like you're trying to reach the right arm, not just straight back, but behind you toward what is the left side of your space. On an inhale, with control perhaps, we're gonna find that standing position. Maybe you just kind of drop into it, and then open arm twist to your left. Lengthen the crown of the head away from your tailbone even here, and then lift onto the left toes. Great place to stay. If you want a little bit more, we lift that left knee up. Keep lifting the right inner thigh and the right lower abdominals. Option to catch your left knee or your left foot. Remind yourself to smooth out your breathing and unclench your jaw. Pull that back arm, not just straight back, but also behind you. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze a little bit. On the inhale, with as much grace as you've got, reach up, feet down, big stretch. And then fold forward as you empty. Find your halfway stretch on the in-breath. And then Vinyasa, however you want to get to downward facing dog. You can skip the low push-up. You could take a child's pose. You could add a crow. From down dog, right leg lifts on the in-breath. Curl in on the out. Just one time, drop the knee, lift the left leg, lift the chest, breathe in. Bend the elbows, maybe the chin taps on the breath out. Back to three-legged, inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step it through straight into high crescent this time, so right where we left off. And then in your high crescent, bring your fingers toward the shoulders so the elbows are out to the sides. Fingers are toward the shoulders. If you've ever done Kundalini, this will feel familiar. You're going to use your feet, your legs, and your abdominals to stay steady as you start to twist just through the sides of the waist, all the way up through the sides of the waist to the crown of the head. For 3, 2, it's okay if you lose your balance. On 1, we're going to find revolved crescent. Left arm goes up, right hand works its way down, maybe to the small of the back or somewhere on the outside of the left leg. Keep reaching up through the left arm. Start to bend the left knee so slow. The left knee is going to drop all the way down and then stay there for a moment. Lift through the left arm. Maybe you look up. Breathe in. Hanumanasana, press the hips back. Take a full breath in. Maybe you play around here with shifting back and floating the foot. Full breath out. This time we're going to find airplane. Rebend the front knee. Press down into the right leg as you lift the left leg. Wing your arms by your side and then draw the floating ribs in. See if you can turn your left kneecap to point downward or even slightly to the right, like pointing that left knee toward the long right edge of your yoga mat. Keep pressing into that front foot. We're going to find a single-legged mountain, lifting the left knee up on the in-breath. And then figure 4 this time, crossing the left ankle over the top of the right thigh. Stay here, or you have the option to add a twist, bringing your left elbow to the sole of the left foot, maybe opening the arms. Few more deep breaths. You've also got the option to bend the right knee a ton, to plant the hands, And then bend your elbows as you create a shelf for your left shin. Really flex the left foot so the left toes kind of hug around the right bicep. And then maybe you float that right leg back for flying pigeon. If you played around with a twist or an arm balance, start to work your way back to your figure four. From figure four, dancing Shiva. Catch the left foot or the left knee with the right hand. Reach it up and open, breathing in. And then we're gonna drop the left foot next to the right, little wider. Inhale, arms up, feet are wide. And then exhale, Malasana, melt your hips down. Take a couple breaths here. It sometimes feels good to shift the weight side to side. Sometimes it feels good to get still, to close the eyes and really feel the breath. Big inhales. Slow exhales. One more. Anchoring your mind. Big breath in. This time release the hands down as you exhale, lift the hips. You can heel toe the feet a little closer together. Find your halfway stretch, breathe in. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Feel free to skip it. Sometimes I like to throw cow in instead of up dog. And then downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, big breath as you stretch. Bring your knee under the body as you exhale, really squeeze. Drop the knee down, lift the right leg, lift the chest, lift up on the in-breath. Shift forward, bend the elbows, tap the chin on the out. Three-legged, right toes down, left leg up on the breath in. Step through, straight to your high crescent lunge, and pause. Find a lot of strength in your foundation here. So inner thighs squeeze gently toward each other. Pelvic floor lifts. Lower abdominals pull in. Bring your fingers toward the tops of the shoulders. And then we twist, trying to keep the legs as still as possible. For 3, we're gonna go right arm up in 2 and 1. Revolved crescent, right arm reaches up. Slowly bend and lower the right knee all the way down. Inhale as you look up toward the right hand. And then Hanumanasana as you exhale. Stay here or shift it back. You've got a breath in. And a breath out. We're going airplane. Launch yourself forward on that front foot. And then check in, right? You might just be fighting to find a version of this where you're not wobbling a ton. It's okay to wobble a little bit. It's okay to wobble a lot. If you feel yourself settle and get stable, notice the direction that the right knee, the back knee is pointing. Can you point that right knee either straight down or slightly to the left? So got a little bit of internal rotation or at least neutral with that right thigh. And creating a little bit more stability that way. And then push into the left foot. We've got single-legged mountain. Right knee comes up. Big, big breath. Figure 4. Sliding the right outer ankle over the top of the left hip. Or over the top of the left thigh, excuse me. Maybe not the hip. It might work. You've got the option to bring your right elbow to the sole of the right foot and open, or to plant the hands. Maybe you wiggle the left foot back a little to give yourself some space. Then the left knee a bunch. I'm gonna squeeze my left arm with the right toe. So pull them in like a little hook. And then bending the elbows, create a shelf. Perhaps the left leg lengthens out, flying pigeon. Again, remember that commitment to listen to your body. We're meeting back in figure 4. No rush to get there. From figure 4, dancing Shiva. From dancing Shiva, wide stance, feet at the top. Breathe in. Malasana, breath out. 2 deep breaths. Set the eyes to one spot. Maybe gaze rests down the bridge of the nose. You can close your eyelids down completely. Take one more big inhale as you press the elbows into the knees and resist that pressure with the thighs, and then fold forward on the exhale. Right away, find your halfway stretch. Breathe in. Vinyasa will meet in downward facing dog. Big inhales. Long exhales. Breath in motion. Right leg high. Breathe in. Knee to nose. Give it a squeeze on the breath out. Drop the knee down. Lift the left leg. Look up. Breath in. Bend the elbows. Tap the chin toward the ground on the breath out. Back to three-legged right leg. Press the hands down to lift it up. Exhale and step it through. High crescent lunge. Finish your inhale. Exhale, fingers to your shoulders. Twist for 3, 2, 1. Revolved crescent. Left arm reaches up. Breathe in. Drop the back knee and fold over the front leg on the breath out. Stay here. Take a breath in and a breath out. Airplane. Launch it forward on the inhale. Single-legged mountain on the exhale. Reach up, breath in, and then figure 4. Sink nice and low just for the breath out. Dancing Shiva, unwind on the inhale. This time we're gonna go feet wide into a wide stance chair or a bear. So feet are wide, maybe hips distance, maybe even wider. Breathe in. And then open arm chair to the right on the breath out. Stand all the way up on the inhale. Exhale, open arms to your left. Rise up and fill. Fold forward as you empty. Halfway stretch, breathe in. Vinyasa, we meet in downward facing dog. Let your breath be your focus. Inhale and exhale. Left leg up, breath in. To the nose, breath out. Drop it down, look forward, inhale, right leg. Exhale, tap the chin. Three-legged left leg, breathe in. Step through as you empty, high crescent on the inhale. Fingers to the shoulders, twist for 3, 2, 1. Right arm up, breath in. Lower the back knee on the breath out and fold forward. Hanumanasana, stay here or shift back, floating the left foot up. Shift forward, airplane pose, launch it off, breathe in. Let's stay here for the breath out. Single-legged down just for the inhale, pull up, 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 up. And then figure 4 on the exhale. Dancing Shiva, open to the right on the in-breath. Feet wide into chair on the out. Hold it here for 3. Continue to breathe for 2. See if you can shift your hips back a little bit lower. And then sit all the way down onto your back. Roll down onto your back, heels down, toes up. Bring your hands to the sides of the head so the fingers are right in line with the ears. We're going to keep the heels down to start. And the toes aren't going to touch the mat for a while, yeah? So toes up. Take a breath in. And then we're going to curl up just with the chest. Stay here or keep the knees bent to bring your elbows toward your knees. Drop the heels down if they were lifted. Drop the head, breathe in. Exhale, curl up through the center. 2 more like that, inhale. Exhale, you've got the option to keep the heels down if you want. Last time like this. Lower down, keep the heels on the mat. This time we're gonna lift just the left knee and reach the right arm outside of the left knee. Left heel down, right hand back toward your ears. Lift just the right knee, reach the left arm outside. Heel down, keep both heels, let's go both knees this time through the center. So that's the pattern. We're gonna go right to the left, left to the right, and then 1 through the center. Keep going, alternating. Encourage you to go a little slower than maybe your inclination might be. So slow, controlled, good form is always going to give us better results in terms of actually building strength physically and also mentally. For 3, for 2, last 1, feet down, soles of the feet down. Bridge or wheel, lift your hips up. If you're in bridge, you can shimmy the shoulders underneath you like I'm doing. Interlace your hands right underneath the tailbone and then press down to the pinky finger side of your hands, even tucking the outer pinky in a little bit. Take big breaths. See if you can let the breath be a little longer. So long inhales. Slow exhales. As soon as you empty completely, take one more long inhale, lift it up. And then slowly lower down. Reach your arms over your head. Breathe in. Exhale, rock forward and backward, crossing the ankles. We work our way to downward facing dog. We're gonna flow through our sequence once more, changing up the end just a little bit. Right leg goes high, breathe in. To your nose, breath out, drop it down. Inhale, look up, left leg is up. Exhale, bend the elbows. Three-legged, press into your hands to lift the right leg. And then exhale, step it through. High crescent, take a big breath in. Fingers to your shoulders, twist for 3, 2, 1. Revolved crescent on the inhale. This time find warrior 2 to the back of the mat. Warrior 2 to the back of the mat. Not here for long. Interlace your hands, lift your heart, breathe in. And then humble warrior. Let your left shoulder melt toward the inside of the left knee or lower leg. Now let the head get heavy. Take one more big breath in. Long breath out. Release the right hand down inside the left foot. Right heel comes up. Dragonfly twist. Hug the inner thighs toward each other as you stretch up through your top arm. Breathe in. Sweep the hands to the top of the mat on the exhale. Airplane, launch forward. Big breath in. Double check the alignment. Breath out. Single-legged mountain, lift on the in. Figure 4 on the out. Dancing Shiva. Breathe in. Listen, we're going to find revolved half moon. Left hand's going to float downward as the left leg kicks back and the right arm reaches up. Totally fine to use a block. Totally fine to take a dragonfly instead of a revolved half moon. If you've got the strength, maybe you float that the left hand off of the ground and try and tee the arms a little wider. From revolved half moon, breathe in. Steady, we're gonna step the left foot back for sky archer. Straighten the right knee, take a deep inhale, opening up. And then side plank facing the right. Left hand comes down. Any version of a side plank that you'd like here. You can drop the left knee. You could take it into a wild thing. You might take a star variation. I'm going to suggest wild thing if it's there for you, just to get a little bit more of a back bend. And then if you're in wild thing with me, bring your right hand to the base of the skull. Let the head fall into the hand as you spin your chest open more toward the right, maybe even up toward the ceiling. Breathe in. Exhale, back to high push-up. In high plank, step your left foot out to the left, bring it back in, step your right foot out to the right, back in. Little toe tap side to side for 3, for 2, 1. High push-up, lower all the way down. Float the arms by the side, lift the chest and the chin in locust pose. Press the hips and the pubic bone downward and forward. The glutes are active. Lengthen the sides of the neck. Keep pressing the hips and the pubic bone down and forward. Maybe float the legs up for 3. Unclench your teeth for 2. Take a big breath in. Exhale, high push up to downward facing dog. Left leg, this is it. Breathe in. To your nose, give it a squeeze. Inhale, drop the knee, lift the chest, lift the right leg. Bend the elbows, tap the chin down. 3-legged, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it through. High crescent, breathe in. Exhale to your shoulders and twist. 2, 1, inhale, right arm. Veer 2 to the back of the mat. Take up a little bit more space between your feet. Interlace opposite pinky on the outside. Lift the chest. And then humble warrior. Continue to take those deep breaths as you find that surrender, that quality of maybe humility, letting go of shame is part of humility. In the same way, letting go of pride, Staying in that space that's strong and soft, where we're open but steady. From humble warrior, dragonfly to the back. Inner thighs hug toward one another. Lower abdominals lift. Maybe you float the bottom hand up. Breathe in. Let's sweep it all the way to the top. Airplane pose. Right leg flies high. Breathe in. Check the alignment. Breath out. Inhale, single-legged mountain. Exhale, figure four. Dancing Shiva, not Shiva squat, dancing Shiva. And then we're going to revolved half moon. So you'll lever the right leg back, right hand floats down, square the chest toward the floor, and then spin it open to the left. Nice, really long inhale. We're gonna step the back foot down, find your sky archer, breathe in. And then this time you've got side plank with the right hand down, facing the left side of the space. Option to drop the right knee. Option to star your side plank. Maybe you take your wild thing with me and bring your left hand to the back of the head. Let the head fall into the hand as you pull yourself up and open toward the ceiling. So not only are you pressing down with that bottom hand, but you're lifting, actively extending the hips and opening through your chest as you breathe in. High push-up, high plank. This time separate your feet wide toward the edges of your mat. Right fingers, left shoulder, and switch. Left fingers, right shoulder, and switch. Little taps for 8. Try and keep your hips as still as you can. Shift forward, 6. For 3. For 2, high push-up. Lower all the way down. Make a little pillow for your forehead by stacking the forearms. And just let yourself melt for a moment here. Notice the sensations in your body. Maybe the beating of your heart, or the release of tension in the muscles as you let the body rest. If your head is turned to one side, go ahead and switch to the other side. Take a couple deep breaths there. And when you're ready, start to lift up. We're going to press either into a tabletop or a down dog just as a transition for half pigeon on the right. So slide the right knee forward behind the right wrist. Right ankle works over toward the left a bit. And then stretch back through your left leg. Stay lifted for a moment if you can. So maybe your fingers are wide and out in front of you. You might just be on the fingertips. Find a little bit of extension in this left hip. So pull that left hip point forward and then hug the inner thighs toward each other. So you're actually active in your legs a lot here. Stay here or bring your hands toward your heart. Stay there. Inner thighs are lifting. Maybe you even lift the hips a little bit. Still in that pigeon variation. If everything still feels okay here, start to tilt forward, shoulders out of the ears. And then maybe you wing the arms by your side. So it's like the heart is just floating above the mat. Those of you that still need more, push into the tops of the left foot, top of the left foot, lift the left knee, and then one arm forward, other arm forward, perhaps both arms forward, lower abdominals lift so the low back is supported for 3, for 2, and then relax into your pigeon. Notice the sensations around the joints. If there's anything tingling or sharp, go ahead and reduce the range of motion until the sensation moves to the space around the joint instead of inside of it. If you can feel a stretch, somewhere in the outer edge of the right hip and thigh, and breathe in that space. And just one more really long round of breath. Don't rush the exhale, stay with the pose, let the shoulders relax, let the jaw unclench. And then start to walk the hands back, shifting the weight toward your right leg as you bring both legs around. Bring the soles of the feet together for a moment. You can catch hold of the ankles or bring your thumbs to like the inner arch. I sometimes like to give the feet a little massage here. Now lift the chest up nice and high, straight arms to start, and then bend your elbows as you hinge it forward. The elbows might gently press into the inner thighs, press in and then out, kind of stretching down the inner thigh. So you might have to peek to see that. I'm pointing the elbows like toward the groin as much as I can. Push them down and then slide along the inner thigh outward toward the knees. Do a couple of those. And then just melt into it just for one round of breath, breathing down into your lower back. And start to work your way back into your tabletop or your down dog, or maybe right into half pigeon on the left. I sometimes like to do a little bit of movement in a tabletop before. But eventually work into that base for half pigeon. If you know you don't want to play around with any of those options that we did on the right, you can come right into your version. Otherwise, tent the fingers wherever you need to, so you can keep the chest somewhat lifted. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Hug the inner thighs toward each other. Get active in your legs. Maybe even lift the hips a little bit here. And stay here, or bring the hands to your heart. Stay there and start to lean forward. From here, reach both of your arms back. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Keep finding that energy in the legs. So the legs are not like loosey-goosey wet noodle here. Total opposite. Hugging in. Finding strength in your muscles without overly tensing up through the lower backs. Lift the belly button. One arm forward, other arm forward. Maybe both of them go forward for 3. Maybe you're lifting that right knee by pressing into the top of the right foot for 2. Take a breath in. And then release into your version of pigeon if you're not already there. At the beginning of practice, we set up an intention, or I offered an intention of taking really exceptionally good care of yourself. And some of us have a really easy time challenging ourselves, taking care of ourselves, making sure that we're growing in that specific way. And maybe some of us have a harder time letting go of taking care of ourselves in the way of allowing for more rest and relaxation. Real rest, real relaxation, where we're present, where we're softening deliberately, intentionally. And let the breath roll through you here. And see how much you can let go of any gripping in the muscles of your face or your scalp. Let go even more. Let the lips part. Maybe you allow the eyelids to be just a tiny, tiny bit open to soften and relax the muscles around the eyes even more. Take one more really full present breath. Let that exhale represent more of a release. And start to work your way out of your stretch. Shifting to the left, bringing the right leg around. Let's bend both of the knees, bring the heels down. So we're going to do a roll down into Shavasana here. Reach the arms forward and then scoop the tailbone under. So push like the waistband of your body, push that area back. Keep that pushing back energy as you pull the abdominals in and lower down just halfway. And then let's lift all the way up. Reach the arms up, straighten the spine for a moment. Reach the arms forward, cat your back, push the waistband back, lower halfway down, and then all the way up. Maybe even arch the spine a little here, breathe in. Exhale, scoop it under, belly button to the lower back, hold halfway down, little pulses. 8, if you need more, 7, alternate your knees, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, heels down, reach the arms back, let the shoulders drop, big breath in as you straighten out the legs. And then open your mouth. Find Shavasana as you let the feet drift all the way to the edges of the mat, or perhaps a little even wider than that. Bring your arms down by your side, turning the palms upright. Just let your whole body melt. Give yourself permission to relax. Give the body permission to relax physically. Give your mind permission to relax. Let it empty, perhaps. Just setting that invitation up. And then just allow yourself to be here for a few moments. Letting the stillness find you, letting the stillness and the quietness and the space of these few moments bring you a little bit of that specific kind of taking care of ourselves. It's rare in our world to find opportunities for quiet and space and stillness. And yet those moments are so important. Just as important as it is to exercise physically, it's equally important to rest. And start to bring a little bit of movement back into your body as you nod your head slowly from side to side. Circle your ankles, your wrists, wiggle your fingers, your toes. Take all the time you need to work your way from your back to a seat. And when you land in a seated position, bring the hands back to heart center. Bringing the intention to take care of yourself back to mind. And then maybe setting a slightly different intention now that this practice did allow you some space and time to look after yourself. Letting yourself feel like your cup is a little fuller. And perhaps setting the intention to show up in a way that allows you not only to continue to sustain taking care of yourself, but perhaps to also help care for the people and the things around you. Cleansing breath. Sit up tall as you fill all the way up from the tailbone to the crown of the head, sipping in a little bit more breath at the top. When you're ready, open your mouth and let it go. Thank you very much for spending some time with me. I hope you feel well, keep taking care of yourself and others, and I hope to see you soon.